Thanks, everyone. I'm Jay-Z. I rap about machine learning. I'm a product manager in finance, and I used to be a UX lead in marketing SaaS and a cool hunter for advertising agencies in New York, but now I'm based in Virginia. I went to Stanford, where I studied anthropology, and I'm from Shanghai, China. Today I'm going to talk to you about the Capital One Machine Learning Business Model Canvas. It's a long one. I think everyone in finance is obsessed with artificial intelligence and machine learning. I know at Capital One, everyone in our company of 50,000 employees heard from our CEO that he's obsessed with machine learning. Now everyone wants to do it. Have you ever daydreamed? It would be so cool if our system could just insert magical artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning, ML solution here. Hey, I know you. You came to my talk in Miami. Good to see you. His company, Citi, is also obsessed with machine learning as well. And blockchain. But is it even possible? I know he's recruiting too. So.
I'm from Citi too.
All right. Anyone else from FinTech? Awesome. How many hands for FinTech? 4, 5. Well, we'll be networking afterwards. So is it even possible? Because for a lot of the systems that you want to design, you don't need to design a complex ML system. And for a lot of things that you want to do with natural language processing, it's just not possible. So maybe you're really excited and you don't have enough of the questions answered, and you go to your data scientist and you wonder, why did they just roll his eyes when I proposed my idea? This happens a lot, right? Yeah. So as data scientists, they're in this box. They're interested in understanding what's technically feasible, what's academically innovative, what's plausible as a solution. As business analysts, any business analysts here? All right, 1. Any data scientists here? All right, 3. So as business analysts, you're interested in value. Is this going to be profitable? And then as product managers, you're in the middle, coordinating it all, but answering, is this valuable for the customer? And so because of that structure, we're trying to speak different languages. It's good to have a common one as well, which is why I rap. So I'm going to rap this, and you can follow along. I'm not a good rapper, but I encourage battles afterwards. So if you got machine learning problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but ML ain't one. Biz product data scientist from Capital One creating the ML Biz Model Canvas, all is one. Thank you. And we're going to do the rap all together at the end. So you'll get your chance. I know it's live streamed on Facebook Live, so you will be internet famous. All right. So the Capital One Machine Learning Business Model Canvas, long title. You'll see in the first row, this is what you already do day to day as a product manager. This is what the Lean Product Canvas already offers you. First quadrant is about the problem. Is there a problem? Second quadrant, is there value? Right? That's what the business analyst is interested in. So what Capital One has uniquely contributed to the machine learning field is the bottom row in the canvas. Step 3, evaluate the data. Step 4, envision the output. So I'm going to go through all of this. We've also traveled nationally to hold a much more in-depth, day-long workshop. But today, for the product school, we're just going to give you the top 4 secrets. By the end of this talk, you're going to speed up the process of going from your daydream, insert magic here, all the way to launch. Hopefully, you'll learn what you need to know to be successful. So So before we dive in, any burning questions that you have to ask before we go on?
What's in your wallet? Just kidding.
What's that?
What's in your wallet?
Oh, lots of Capital One cards. What's in your wallet?
Well, Capital One.
Really? You can say Citi. It's okay. He's here. Amex. Is Amex here? All right. I don't know if Amex is doing machine learning. Do you know if they are? Okay. What's that? Yeah, all the banks have a ton of big data. It's just what they do with it, right? All right. The resolution is a little weird. So for the first quadrant, assessing the problem suitability for AI ML. First secret, is your problem truly well defined and complex? So I'm going to tell you about a problem that I worked on, which is a really hard problem. A, is the challenge clearly defined? So we wanted to get to this top green sticky note. Can anyone read it for me?
Get me to a place where I'm confident about what my customers are saying so I know what to pay.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. So we get a lot of phone calls, and the data set is so big, there's no way any human, even supervisors of supervisors of supervisors of 6,000 call agents, could ever analyze or digest so much big data. So the challenge was clearly defined. Can it be done by hand? We really prefer to do things by hand. It's very cheap, and the Security and Exchange Commission really likes it when we can explain why we gave you a credit card and you a better credit card, and all of you credit cards, or none of you credit cards, right? So in terms of fairness and explainability, the law says that we have to tell them a very simple equation of what happened and why. In this case, when we look at analyzing our phone calls, we cannot create a simple equation. It needs to be a really complex natural language processing machine learning model. And it's much more expensive. So C, is this a complex problem? We spoke at the Voice Summit last year. Did anyone go to the Voice Summit? There's a Voice Summit again this year in New Jersey. I highly recommend it. And we talked about NLP. It's really complex because there's what customers are saying, there's what they actually mean, there's a smaller subset of what our phone agents can actually do, and then there's the risk associated of how many millions of dollars or lawsuits we might get based on what we don't do. And so all of those things are really hard to decipher. Is the target goal clear? D. So the target goal wasn't really clear because we wanted to group what the customers were saying, group them, the calls that they were saying it in, into insightful categories. And I'll take your question in a minute. It's nearly impossible to group them into insightful categories. And I'll show you why in a minute. But I would definitely recommend when you start your first machine learning project, like right after this talk, I definitely recommend something that has less than like 10 shades of ambiguity. So we work on a auto finance system. We're looking for how much we should give you a loan for a red used Subaru. It's really easy, 10 shades of ambiguity or less, to say this is a red car, this is a red Subaru, this is a red toy Subaru, this is a pink car, this is not a Subaru, this is a Chevy. We've got like 10 shades of gray, right? 10 shades of red, actually, in this situation. So I highly recommend you start with just those 10 shades because in natural language processing, you've got like thousands of shades. And in this room, if we talked about what we just talked about, you would have zillions, like infinite millions of interpretations because the human mind is subject to interpretation. So I'll pause for your question. Yeah?
Just trying to understand the concept. So when you say thousands of calls, are they people calling up, are they already customers, or they people who want a credit
Oh, yeah, that's a really good question. So mostly it's people who already are our customers. And every day we get 1,000 days worth of phone calls. So people are calling about, I wanted to get this Uber ride. Why did you decline my card? I paid my bill. Did I really? Why did I get this late charge? Things like that. Yeah. Any other questions?
Do you end up narrowing that pool down by those pre-scanning questions that we tend to get when we make a call? It's like, what are you calling for? For this, for that, and then you're able to categorize them into those pools, and then from there you're able to then parse them out into bigger data sets.
Yeah, so our chatbots and automated phone systems try to do that. And they're mostly right. And by mostly, I mean like more than 50%. But there's also so much ambiguity. So we might have started a call asking, why did I decline your Uber charge? And then you started talking about something else, like, why is Uber, part of our promotions? And then you start talking about something else, and we don't know what the category is at that point. So that's a really good question. We'll go into that. Anything else?
Does the problem start somewhere and then people are like, well, how do we solve it? Let's talk to the ML people? Or is there somebody within the ML group that focuses on figuring out some things that you can solve or so on?
Yeah, so Capital One, it starts everywhere because everyone's obsessed with machine learning. And I'm part of a group where we're scoping the feasibility. And that's where the Canvas can really help you as a business developer, as an internal consultant, even as a data scientist. Should I take this project? Is this project worth more or less? Is this project even feasible? Does that answer your question?
Yeah. Well, if so, you said you prefer to do things manually.
Manually, yeah.
So that means another group will try to solve it manually, and when they fail, they'll like, oh, let's go to the ML team and see if they can solve it.
Well, I think that's where good product management comes into play. A lot of people come with the solution in mind. Let's do AI. That would be so good on my resume. And they don't actually have a focus on the problem. So it can really differ where it comes from, how it starts. Yeah. You had your hand up.
So when you say you want to do this manually, it looks like you have the mindset, what are you looking for? It's almost like you have prediction, like supervised, like if you say
Right.
it's supervised learning. You already have what are you looking for? It's the fact that data is just too much, right? Versus you have a whole bunch of data just sit there
Right.
that you don't really know. There's something they kind of you want to categorize them to certain patterns. That's another set of questions. So what exactly, like probably like two core questions, like what's the setup? What's the framework?
It can really range. So we work on a motley of problems. And there is this hope in the market for unsupervised learning to categorize your insights. And the hope is based on the assumption that you don't need to train a data set. And it's based on the assumption that the machine will just know, like a Borg or a white canvas will just understand what the salient categories are. And we really are here to dispel that myth. So you can start from a much more successful assumption. Yeah. Yeah.
So is the reason why it must be able to be done by human first, just for the sake of like traceability and being able to trace through it and like find the root cause and do root cause analysis? Is that too much?
Yeah, so if Google recommends a restaurant to you and not to someone else, they're not legally liable from a legal, like government perspective to give credit cards to people who deserve it. Like if they recommend Thai to you and Lebanese to me, the government's not going to sue them for doing that. But if we give you a credit line of $1,000 and him a credit line of $1 million, the government will ask us, like, why?
So it's like traceability.
Yeah, explainability, traceability are very hard to tackle in AI. It's a black box.
So you're trying to essentially just like save man hours, which is like have the AI do something that a regular human can do on its own.
Can you ask the question again?
So essentially what you're doing is you're trying to automate it so you're saving man hours, right? You're then having the AI do something that a regular human can't on its own.
I think we're trying to do both. So a regular human cannot process 1,000 days of phone calls every day. And then if we tried, it would be very expensive too. But I like the question. I think we can talk about it. And maybe you have a...
I like that you said the black box thing, because that's the main accountability thing that sometimes you get rejected and there's literally no way to find out why. And it's really hard to report that. But it works. It's just really hard to report it.
Well, did it do what we wanted it to do? Like, it does something, right?
Very accurately allocates credit, for example.
Yeah.
But it's hard to explain why.
It's accurate, but maybe it's not fair. And definitely, the machine doesn't know why. It can't print out an inventory of why. It doesn't know.
So
Yeah.
basically, it does not have a trace of its decision-making process.
No.
There's no auditor.
No.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Depends on the system you make. But in deep neural networks, there is no trace.
Oh,
Yeah. No, you'll get there. All right, so we'll keep going, and the deck will answer a lot of these questions, and we can keep talking in the networking session. All right, quantifying the value to the enterprise. So startups, maybe you have some VC capital to burn. At a large enterprise, especially at a bank, you want to make millions of dollars like every day. So we're going to rap about that. I have allergies, so. All right. If you got net present value problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but NPV ain't one. Millions in net present value, increasing stockholder value. When machines do boring tasks, they send peeps a life raft. Thank you. What's that? Oh, we'll keep going. All right. Secret 2, which you all know from the Lean Product Canvas, make a map of all the stakeholders who will benefit. So obviously at the top, your team will get promoted, maybe. Then the second sticky is for a horizontal platform team, maybe a back-end team that you also work with. The middle sticky, let's say, is for the user who should get a lot of benefit. Then there's the partners that you work with internally and externally, maybe a servicing or a customer service center that you hire internationally. Could be other partners like other companies that you co-brand affiliate marketing with. And then there's the fraud team. So all of these people have value that you can generate or take away from them. So let's say for your team, you estimate a certain number. It's really good to add the other numbers together so you show for the whole company what you're saving or what you're making. And especially when in finance you work with the fraud team, a little error in the algorithm, in the model, there are no algorithms, in the model, or a little change can cost you millions of dollars. And so if you don't talk to the fraud team before you launch, you are going to fail. And as a product manager, your only value is your relationship with all of these stakeholders. So remember, your stakeholder alignment works even harder for you in machine learning. Any questions? All right. Now we're getting to the meat of the canvas, which is the bottom row, 3 and 4. 3 is evaluating the data, and 4 is envisioning the output. Oh, right. Got another wrap. If you got data training problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but data training ain't one. Frogs versus princes, zeros versus ones, and this is from Tinder, right? I got trained data. You got none. Thank you. So you were talking about supervised learning. Is there labeled data that can train the system? So on Tinder, you spend a lot of carpal tunnel cycles, right? Like swiping left and swiping right to train their system. You might not know it because you're just trying to get results for yourself, but you're telling them what photos are desirable and what photos are not desirable. And maybe you do, I don't know, how many swipes, you're making a dating app. How many swipes do people do a day?
I max out. I don't know.
Oh, there's a maximum?
There's a maximum.
What's the maximum?
I don't know. It's like 100.
Okay, let's say 100 a day. And you're dating, this is in New York, you're dating for like 10 years. It's a lot of data. But imagine that you need 1 million rows of data to start a machine learning model, right? What's that?
It should be quite easy to get the results.
Yes, but do you want to do that? Do you want that to be your job, right? So I think you were asking about who's asking about the categories? Like what you were asking about the categories. Yes, I remember you. So category 1 is, why didn't you accept my overpayment? Category 2 is, did I pay my bill? And category 3, let's say, is other. And so the machine has been trained to slot category 1 with call 1, category 2 with calls like call 2, and category 3 with calls like call 5. And then the question is, where's call 11? Is there a call 11? So call 11, like you said, is about all those topics. It's a long conversation, maybe lasting over half an hour. It's being transferred from different call agents in different countries, all for the same user. But because of that complexity, call 11 does not score highly on any of these categories, and it's missing. And call 11 perhaps is from a fraud ring, a fake person committing first-party or third-party fraud, taking down the system for a minute and causing us a lot of, like, millions of dollars in losses. And so it takes a human to put call 11 somewhere, right? And then if you're the human who has to do that 1 million times, you're not a product manager anymore. So the Harvard Business Review has identified 4 new job families related to machine learning. One of them is training data. Another one of them is validating data. And so you want to answer in your company, who's going to do that? If you want to build a team to do that, great. We probably will contract with you. But if you don't have a team to do that, and you can't contract Mechanical Turk to do that for you, how are you going to get like these 100 people to train the data set for 1 million rows of data? Like, who's going to do it? And I promise you, no one in your company has the time to do it right now. So think about who you're going to get to do it. Questions? Yeah.
So would you add a component to the workflow of the people answering the calls, where on their screen at the end of the call, they just label that call and they say this call was about this, this, and that, and you take a few more minutes of their time, but
Yeah.
now they're labeling your data.
Let's say they create 10,000 categories.
What's it again?
They create 10,000 categories. Someone has to go back in and say, these are the 50 we actually care about. And I have to train them to figure out which of those 10,000 belong in the 50. And at that point, you're taking up average handle time, which is their metric for success. So you're adding a minute to each agent's time. And then they might not get the bonus or get the rewards that they're incentivized for. So who in your company is going to be incentivized for slowing down? Yeah. And
The
then,
answer is no, you don't.
huh?
So the answer is no, you don't use them.
Well, you have to reward them in the right way. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
How do you determine acceptable error rates?
We're going to talk about that. But as a team of biz product data scientists, you would have to determine the false positive, false negative, acceptable error rates. And they change over time with new data. They change depending on the business value that is associated with those thresholds. So we'll talk more about that. That's a really good question. Yeah?
So you said that you were choosing 50 important features out of 10,000. Can't you just have a program do it for you? That's the question. Like automatically?
How does the program know what the 50 are?
Well, like automatically choose the most important features, like through some algorithms?
That is the dream. That is the insert magical AI dream. Does anybody?
On a much smaller data set, the program can already figure it out. If you train on a randomly selected data, much smaller data set,
Who's going to train it?
the analysts.
Okay.
But the dream is alive. In this room, it is alive, and I assure you, we're going to keep pursuing it. But it's a really expensive problem. Yeah.
How do you associate a dollar value to a machine learning problem? Say you go into the management, they might want to know like what's the impact in dollar terms.
It's still your generic, break-even cost-benefit ratio. The expense of the system minus the profit you'll get. And sometimes in machine learning, as you're changing the metrics for other job families, it's operational expenses saved. So what happens politically is that it's hard to remove people from their jobs when you're saving money, right? So you have to figure out how to retrain them, how to find value for them in the workforce. It's very tricky.
What does the data actually look like? Like, is it like a call ID, customer ID, block of text, and then these all have to get linked together, like in the case somebody gets transferred to multiple call IDs?
Yeah, so there's structured data, which is those structured data elements, and then there's all the words which are completely not structured.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep going. All right, so we're getting really close. Box 4, envisioning the output and define the success. You were asking about that, right? You're a data scientist? You're a business analyst.
I have a client that is a data science for information security.
Okay, great. Secret 4, what would be the impact of errors? Oh, where are we? Okay, so when I worked on geolocation, I launched an app that said if you're at the product school and the product school has a coupon for 10% off classes, then we would send you a push notification. The error rate there depends on whether or not you're really at the product school. So maybe we'll have a 50% threshold on location accuracy based on GPS, cellular, Wi-Fi. And then we'll have another accuracy based on whether or not the product school actually has a coupon that day that's valid. Maybe we'll put that threshold at 75% accuracy. Put that all together, send you a notification, you're at Target, and the product school doesn't have a coupon, and you're like, what, And so you delete the app, and we might lose some money or some acquisition cost. But nothing fatal is going to happen. But if you're a self-driving car company, and you make a mistake with that 50% location accuracy, then something fatal has happened, right? In Arizona and all of these test states, fatal things have happened. So what would be the impact of errors? You can define from a threshold of false positives and false negatives what the dollar value you want to assign to all those things are. And I recommend launching with a very conservative threshold. And then gradually, as you see a lot of data and a lot of results, opening up the threshold and decreasing the accuracy as needed. So we'll go back to the same example that now you're familiar with. Let's say we changed and we created new categories, right? There are 50 categories, and you, sir, with the magical AI dream, have trained the data to say that category 1 is about identity, identification, authentication. Category 2 is about payments. Category 3 is everything other. So let's say the call about someone trying to change their address lands in category 3 for some reason, right? So, but this call actually belongs in identity. And if that caller was really important, like Ivanka Trump, and she tweets about it, there's a value associated with the negative PR that she brings. And so should the address change have been removed from other and put into category 1 identity, that's something that you and your billions of training team members will have to decide. Because maybe address change isn't really important except when Ivanka does it. But if address change becomes really important, you have to move it to the better category. Questions? Yeah.
In your example, in this framework of machine learning, I'm imagining a situation where there's contingencies for high-profile clients that may weed out Ivanka Trump prior to the machine learning algorithm being able to do its job. So I guess my question is really, do you set up these machine learning projects in a vacuum, or how do you marry them with other processes within Capital One?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So who would create that list of high-value people? Huh? Credit bureaus, okay.
That and wouldn't be able to do it by income, just general income.
Oh yeah, by income.
Because that would say like, yeah, that person making $3 billion a year. They're important. Doing something. So I don't think
Yeah.
it'd be that hard to identify who those high profile people should be.
Right.
It's how important they are. But then you can just reach out to them because there aren't that many people making that kind of money.
Yeah, so if you work at a non-regulated company, you should absolutely do that. And then it'll be easy. So why would we flag Ivanka differently? That would be a real cause of concern for fairness, right?
Yeah.
In our company, in a regulated company, you just can't do that. But that's a really good solution. I think you should try it. Questions? Yeah.
So the outcome of this, is this to put, so like I call in and my call gets rerouted and the person who picks up the call knows what I'm calling about, or you're just mining phone calls for insights after the fact?
Yeah, we have the first system, and so we're really obsessed with customer service, and we want to build the second system. We've built a lot of it, and you know, it's a market, it works great, and then sometimes it doesn't. So it's really because we want to be obsessive about what are the big problems and how do we find them like right now.
Is there, and we'll probably get to this in the next section, but what is the like potential downside of being like a little wrong in this sense, since you're mostly just mining for ideas versus like directly impacting a customer?
Well, how do you know if the idea is right? I mean, if you have a new product feature based on an idea, how do you validate that that has statistically significant value before you start working on it? But if you don't know if the model is right and you invest a whole year of a product team to build a feature, what if that's the wrong thing? Yeah.
So actually, I have a question.
But that's a really good question, right? So what is the
My question comes from like, if I'm trying to figure out what these categories are, and
Yeah.
say I just cluster all the comments, right?
Yeah.
Now I have a bunch of different clusters of comments, and I'm like, okay, I review these categories and I call this one, this one, this one, this one, and then you build your sort of supervised model on top of that. Then you can validate it with new data, but the like initial, like how do I figure out what categories are, then you go back into sort of the world where the machine's kind of doing it for you, but you still have to kind of check it and validate it after the fact, kind of like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, so how do you check? And the impact of the error for us is actually really high. So
Okay.
because we invest a lot in products and the life cycle due to security is longer, due to all the laws we have to abide by, we want to abide by, is longer.
What is the legal ramifications of an internal cost? Like, because you're just doing like topic modeling, right?
Yeah.
So like, what is the internal, like the legal ramifications of calling topic one payment? Like, what is it, and being a little wrong about that? Like, what is the?
Oh, if we get sued for topic 51, we didn't know because we picked topic 1 through 50.
What would you get sued for?
So many things.
Doesn't the standard become similar to judgment, human judgment? I mean, the human mind, for anthropologists, the human mind is a black box. And
Yeah.
And it's all sorts of things that go into it. We do up to factor rationalization. Isn't it, it's still probabilistic in the same way that evaluating AI output is probabilistic. Isn't that just kind of, part of what I'm asking about is legal, part of it is ethics.
Right.
I'm thinking about like the notorious Facebook facial recognition
Right.
scandal,
Yeah.
which, look that up, it's horrifying. Right, you don't know about it. But the point is that like, don't you wind up on the same solution as you would with human judgment?
Yeah. Well, this is how I'm going to end. So, oops. How do we get?
Is there a
Oh,
wrap to answer that one?
we can make one. So, as you fill out the canvas, you have these 4 secrets, right? And you can start filling out the answers. But what happens when you start scoping projects is that you get tons more questions. And so each box could be like 10 questions. And if you take those 10 questions to your data scientist, maybe they'll say, they might know their stuff. I'm kind of impressed, right? And then your dream, which is my dream of this magical AI system, gets a 1. And their Smirkosaurus, like, they don't know what they're talking about, because product people don't know what they're talking about, gets a 0. And that's what I'm just trying to get you to. That all these questions are really, really excellent. And now you're like ready. You've got the canvas. All right, so hopefully we've sped you through the process of going from your daydream to launch. You need to know, you know what you need to be successful. The canvas is on Medium on our Capital One blog. And we're always hiring biz product data scientists nationally. If you are an amazing data scientist, you can work from home remotely anywhere. And I can refer you as well. So, before we do the wrap, I have to give some shout outs. I want to thank all the biz product and data scientists who helped me improve my wrap, including my husband, who tirelessly worked with me this week. And I want to thank John Whalen of Brilliant Experience, Capital One, the Product School, and the machine learning community at large for investing in women of color like myself. I want to thank Mom and Dad, and I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. I know in New York you have 1,000 different options on this block in this moment, and you came here to learn, so thank you. And we're going to try the wrap together. Who's ready? All right, I knew you were ready. Okay. If you got machine learning problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but ML ain't one. Biz product data scientists working as one, wrapping the ML biz model canvas from Capital One. Give it up for yourselves. All right. Back to the product school.
All right. What did everybody think?
297 problems.
Yeah.
My only question is, who's going to hit the remix? All right. So just a heads up, everybody, this, if you guys want to review this presentation again, I just posted it on our Facebook page, so you can check it out there. We do hold events here every Wednesday and Thursday. So in regards to our upcoming events, how to create a fun user experience, we have a PM from Shutterstock for that one. And on Thursday, why is retention important for PM? Have a product manager from A&E Networks speaking for that one. One thing I do ask, if you guys are interested in coming to more of our events, please register on Eventbrite. We do also advertise on Meetup, but in the description line on Meetup, there is a link for Eventbrite in there, so please look into it there. Lastly, we do have some upcoming cohorts kicking off soon. So our product leadership class is actually kicking off, this Saturday. So if you have questions about that, feel free to chat with me afterwards. We also have our flagship course. We have our PM course kicking off on weekdays on June 18th with PM from Priceline for that one. And our weekend one, that one, more information about the instructor will be out soon, but that one will be kicking off June 22nd. We also have a digital marketing course kicking off in July. PM from Philo coming on teaching that one. We do have this space for about another 30 minutes or so. So I want to use this time, you guys network. Feel free to ask Jay, I was over hoping, additional questions. Thank you so much for coming. Hope to see you guys at our future events.
Thank you.